We are going to Muppet Vision. 5 minutes until the next show.
So where will we go today? Meet me out among the endless possibilities. We'll laugh all the clouds away. I know someday we'll have to stay, but where will we go today?
Okay, the line for Muppet Vision continues to have spacing for the line. We wait until the next party in front of us goes forward. Okay, we have our 3D glasses. And we'll stand in our social distancing dots.
Video display test. Lose the background. Thank you.
Muppet Vision 3D. They socially distanced the line, which was interesting. So we were outside for a while. Now we all have little dots we have to stand on. So here we go. Front row.
Hey, look! Look at the guy in the goofy mask! That's not a mask. Oh, sorry, lady! I don't see money. Where? Where? Oh, nothing up there.
Sophie, what did you think of Muppet Vision? Did you think it was funny? They did a good job social distancing. They had us on dots before we went in, and then they had every other row, and then 4 seats, and then a couple in between. So the whole theater was really spaced out. But they were able to fit quite a few people in there, but we were just all spaced out really well. So I think they did a good job.
We're checking out a possible shortcut here next to the Muppet Theater. Looking behind some screens. And voila, it takes us right back to our stroller rather than walking all the way back around. So that's a pretty neat little trick after you watch the Muppet Vision 3D show.
Now it's time for Star Tours. We don't know how they're going to social distance this ride yet, so we are looking forward to finding out. There's only a 5-minute wait, so we'll let you know on the other side how it went.
Just like on Disney Infinity, that's right. We got our social distancing markers here in the line. Hand sanitizer here in the line.
She's trying to talk to you.
So some rows are closed, and then in between those rows is a plastic or plexiglass barrier between the rows. So this row is closed, and then we have a plexiglass partition in between our group and the group on the same row as us.
Contact departure on frequency 429.
Wait! R2-D2, I am not programmed to find these things. Now just turn us around this instant before we get into trouble.
So far, Hollywood Studios has been the most interesting park we've been back to because the shows aren't open except for the Muppet Vision. And that means everyone is riding rides, which normally at Hollywood Studios, half the crowd is in a show at all times. So it keeps the ride lines pretty reasonable time. But because everybody's riding rides, it feels crowded. And I know it's not crowded because I can see that it's not. But at the same time, it feels like it because the ride lines are long. For example, earlier, Tower of Terror was 15 minutes, and I just looked now, and it's 60 minutes. And that's the same kind of fluctuation we've seen on every ride. They go up and down so much. But what we've learned is when they take the time to clean the ride, it shuts the ride down for, depending on the ride, it can shut it down for 15 minutes up to 30. So it really makes those ride times vary, and you don't know when they're going to clean. So you don't know if you're going to be the unlucky one that's been waiting for 15 minutes and all of a sudden they start cleaning and then you're stuck. So that is the one thing that is hard to predict based on just the ride times that you see on the app. But if you see something like Tower of Terror at a 60-minute wait, that's typically what's happening, is they got backed up because they were cleaning. So that's just some fun information. We're going to go back into Galaxy's Edge because Smuggler's Run has another short wait. We're going to hit it again and it looks like it could rain. There is a relaxation station in Galaxy's Edge right at the beginning of the market area. Just so you know, in case you're here and you need to take a break from your mask. So now we're walking into the market area and you can see the social distancing markers on the ground. So if it does get too crowded, they will start to queue up and help people socially distance from one another. This lady right here looks like she's monitoring that and counting how many people can go in at a time. Okay, we're in the shops area and we were asked that if there's a party in the shop that we wait and we don't go into it. So for example, this shop has nobody in it. Oh, it does have somebody in it. So this gentleman's in line and these people are behind him. So you have to queue up to go into each shop. Only one family in a shop at a time. That is challenging, but still makes sense because these shops are tiny.
Okay. Alright. We have physically distanced one family in a store at a time, and now it's Lulu's turn. Okay. Alright, we have a character sighting here in Batu. V. Moradi. Roaming Black Spire Outpost. She's a spy for the Resistance.
Now we're gonna ride the alien swirling saucers. I've not ridden this before because I get a little motion sickness, but my husband has told me I'll be fine. So we'll let you know how I feel once it's over.
Alien Swirling Saucer is an interesting ride. When it opened, it was packed to the brim, but once the novelty wore off, the wait for this ride is not very long generally. But there's still social distancing markers in place just in case there is a mad rush. Maybe if Slinky Dog goes down or Story Mania goes down, this ride can maybe pick up to a little bit longer wait. But right now we're looking at probably just walking right on with the way crowds are right now.
I love your shoes.
Thank you. They got us on different stars and dots. Social distance, so we're the only people that are in line right now.
Your attention, please.
So we can take any available rocket.
For your safety, remain seated with your seatbelt.
Okay, me and Zippy we're on the ride. You ready, Zippy? On the alien saucer. Let's go!
Well, it's on camera, so it must be true. My husband was right. It was not nearly as bad as the teacups. I really enjoyed it. It was really fun. I liked it. So thanks. We're about to go ride Story Mania. We're so excited to see how they socially distance this one. This one should be pretty easy to socially distance. So here we go.
One of the most unique lines in all of Disney World is Story Mania, with props of old toys that you grew up with, social distancing markers on the floor, and we're in the AC most of all. So the line outside says that it's 10 minutes long, but the line is so interesting. People walk very slowly so they can check out all of the intricate details to the toys. Hands down, one of the saddest things about this whole thing right now is that this line has caused Mr. Potato Head not to be active. He was the most unique line characters all of Disney World, and it's not working right now. Oh, it makes me so sad. Plexiglass barriers have been installed for the two sides of the lines that are being allowed to go into the boarding lanes, further promoting social distancing as we will turn back toward the other direction to go toward the bridge, which will take us down into the park. Hop on in.
Yeah, I think they've got the hang of it. Way to play, everyone.
Now you get to score points.
What do you think, Lulu?
I love it.
You have a good time?
Yep.
Pretty cool. We love Toy Story Mania.
Yep.
I got the best in the car, but at the same time, not even close to being the best in this hour, the best of the day. Probably about 50,000 off of that. But still, a lot of fun. Love Toy Story Mania.
So we just got off Toy Story Mania and there was zero wait. In fact, we had to actually kind of hustle to get onto the car they told us to before it started. But it was great, and they did a good job social distancing the line, but Mr. Potato Head wasn't on, which was really sad. The one thing about these masks in general is that glasses fog up. I don't know if you've noticed, I haven't been wearing sunglasses since the first day because my glasses fog up the whole time. So the 3D glasses also fog up, so they did fog up, which is definitely why I didn't get the best score, for sure. There's no question. But other than that, everything was great. We've had a really good time over in Toy Story Land and Star Wars Land, and now we're going to go to the other side of the park and try out some Tower of Terror and Rock and Roller Coaster and see how that part of the park feels. A lot of the shops are closed. So a lot of the shows are closed. Actually, I'd say all the shows are closed except for Muppet Vision. So even one of our favorite shows, Beauty and the Beast, is not airing right now, which is really sad. They do a good job at social distancing the theater, so there's got to be another reason that none of the shows are running. Indiana Jones isn't running either. More closed things here at Hollywood Studios. Fairfax Fair is close to the Tower of Terror. Hollywood Scoops. All of this is closed. Lulu and I are going to go ride Rock and Roller Coaster. It's going to be her first time. Are you excited? We'll let you know how she likes it.
Standing outside a Rock and Roller Coaster, they're social distancing outside. There's only so much space inside to socially distance, so you have to wait on these white and red stripes on the ground. The standby entrance says 10 minutes only though, even with that line out the door of the ride. So we'll have to wait to see how Monica and Lulu proceed onto Rock and Roller Coaster. This is different. Normally we have to pile into this room like sardines to watch the fun show with Steve and Tyler here, but now we're just walking through as if it's part of the queue. There are those plastic barriers again. Keep us all, even in the rows to get on the rows, there are plastic barriers. Are you excited? So Lulu and I just rode Rock and Roller Coaster, and it was her very first time. What did you think?
Love it.
It was so much fun. They socially distanced, and they had a lot of barriers in between the line and the lines for the seating. So it was really well done, and we loved it. Okay, while we wait for Lulu and Monica, well, we're gonna go see the Lightning McQueen Drivers Academy.
They have fun on Rock and Roller Coaster.
Welcome to Lightning McQueen's Racing Academy. I'm Mac, the official transport truck for number 95 himself, Lightning McQueen.
Okay.
Come on, drive on in.
Okay, so there's some rows that are closed, and then on the other rows there are not available stickers, and then we'll have somebody sit there in the middle, and then somebody won't be able to sit.
Car champion you've all been waiting for.
Heavy rookie sensation and my friend Cruz Ramirez. Help me with the countdown. 3, 2, 1, go! All right, it's always good to start with a practice lap. Warm up your tires.
Now, when you're racing, you want to keep an eye on your tire pressure, oil level, and fuel.
Exactly. Yeah. I just let you know you're Lightning McQueen.
So Zippy and I just got off Lightning McQueen's Racing Academy. It was really, really fun. We certainly enjoyed it. It was socially distanced by the benches and of course the gaps between the seating, and so it was so much fun. Really cool effects and just a real good little feel-good show. So we're sitting outside of the Hollywood Tower of Terror, and we are enjoying some frozen lemonades from Joffrey's, which is right across the exit. There's not a ton of little quick service slots open. So normally there's some that are in the rock and roller coaster area or just down the street from Tower of Terror. Usually tons of those places, but right now most of them are closed, so you kind of can't be choosy when you need a snack. So we're just cooling off here outside and getting ready to ride Hollywood Tower of Terror. Okay, so we're in line for Tower of Terror, and the line was just really long just a second ago, and then a big bunch of people sprinted forward. So we are now social distancing ourselves in the line. The line said 40 minutes, so maybe it'll be quicker than that.
Hi, my name's Effie, and we are in line for Tower Terror. And it's going to be so much fun, and it goes up and down. And see you later.
There's a plexiglass shield on the other side of the line. Okay, we are now in the lobby of the Hollywood Tower Hotel. Got some plexiglass screens for either side of the line, whichever one they put you in. And they're social distancing the floor, so we have to wait until those people move up first until we can move. And they are keeping us relatively socially distant. So the doors are open to the room that normally has the Twilight Zone theme and the television screen and the lightning effects telling you the history of the Hollywood Tower Hotel, but they're not keeping everybody in the same room. Much like the Haunted Mansion, you have to walk on through and you can see everything a little bit better while you socially distant for a little while, but you don't get the same little show that you normally do.
Here we go. Are you ready? Ready? So we just rode the Hollywood Tower of Terror. I have several notes on this one, so pay attention. First, the social distancing was the norm in every line. We just walked through the storytelling area where we couldn't do anything and there was no video. And then went into the elevators, there was no partitions. They just social distanced the rows, which was fine because the partitions would have kind of messed up the ride. But I'm going to tell you right now, if you get nauseated at all on rides, if you get some motion sickness, this one with this on, it's not a good combination because you can't take a deep breath and you can't focus on not getting a little bit of motion sickness. And so just be aware, if you're riding this one, you may want to have a bottle of water really handy to grab right afterwards to get a drink of it. So other than that, it was great as always, but the mask was kind of hard on this Tower of Terror ride.
So there really haven't been that many times today where I thought to myself, you know, there's definitely not that many people at Hollywood Studios because the lines have generally been pretty long. I mean, we really haven't walked on to that many rides. Toy Story Mania was one that we did, but as we walk down Sunset Boulevard, you can actually see this is the difference, because normally people would be in lines and sitting down taking breaks along the street, and this is where you can actually tell there are less people in Hollywood Studios. I've been kind of waiting all day for that feeling, and here we are around 5 o'clock, and there are really less people. Now they may all be in line for Mickey and Minnie's Runaway ride, but still, this would be so much more packed on a typical day in mid-July. COVID's hit these businesses on Hollywood Boulevard hard. They're closed. All these fun little shops here. Now, Disney & Co. is open. One of the few shops on Hollywood Boulevard that is.
Hi, Nancy.
We are about to have dinner at 50's Primetime Cafe, one of our favorite places to eat at Hollywood Studios. We're really excited to see how they socially distance this restaurant because it's pretty compact. So we checked in online on our mobile device, so at this point we're just waiting for a text message to say our table is ready. And we actually checked in before we even got over to the restaurant, so that made that really easy.
Okay, we're at 50's Primetime Cafe.
Glenn.
Monica?
Yes.
Alrighty, I see all you guys have your face coverings on. Thank you for doing that.
Sure.
When we get to the table, you are allowed to take it off, but at any point you do get up, just make sure you put those face coverings back on.
Absolutely.
The restrooms are right around the corner, right over there. So you guys can over.
You know how your air conditioning. Thank you.
So we're at 50's Primetime Cafe, and a lot of empty tables right now. There are arrows on the floor trying to keep people from mixing too much going, and of course there are tables that are blocked off. Okay, so at 50's Primetime, we don't have menus, but we do have a paper menu with a QR code. So we're supposed to scan it with our phone, open the browser, and it will pull up the menu for you.
Hi, I got the fruit and I got mac and cheese and some yummy potatoes.
What'd you get?
I got yummy hot chicken, yummy carrots, yummy green beans, and yummy mashed potatoes.
Alright, what'd you get?
Well, first of all, I always get the chicken pot pie, and sadly they have a limited menu right now, and so I didn't get to get chicken pot pie, but I got a sampler, so I get to try some new things. I got fried chicken, meatloaf, and pot roast, and some mashed potatoes and green beans. Well, we just had dinner at 50's Primetime Cafe, and it was just as nostalgic as we're used to, but it did have a lot of changes. First of all, the tables are spaced out. Second of all, the lobby is empty, which is normally, if you've ever eaten here, is completely packed. So that's very different. But the waiter was still really interactive, and even though he couldn't force feed us our vegetables, he was still awesome, and we really enjoyed our time here. And I highly recommend it, but the menu was limited. So we had heard that there's social distancing in the kitchen and thus limiting some menus. This one was very limited. It's the most limited menu we've seen. So that was also different. So check the menus before you go to your favorite restaurants and make sure your favorite foods are there. But otherwise, we enjoyed our nostalgic trip back to Mom's.
Very empty part of the park right now. And we can walk past Indiana Jones Stunt Spectacular, which is closed. Very unfortunate, but there are some good signs. There are some social distancing decals that are on the ground outside of the Indiana Jones show, which may lead us to believe that it may open sometime soon. That would be great news.
Please report to base.
Getting close to the end of the day. The crowds have definitely cleared out here in Batu. Toy Story Land. It's also lightened up quite a bit from earlier. We're getting one last ride in for Slinky Dog. Look what happens when you wait. 5-minute wait for Slinky Dog Dash. We did something miraculous today. We walked on Slinky Dog. No wait, walked right on the ride. Oh, that felt good. It was awesome. Well, after a day of waiting, we're finally gonna ride Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. Hopefully. Only a 40-minute wait, and it's the shortest wait we've seen all day, so let's go.
So we are in line here outside of Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. We're social distancing by our designated markers on the ground. We got the handprints from the stars, just like at the Real Grauman's Chinese Theater in Hollywood. The line earlier was over an hour and a half wait when we first got here. And now it's died down quite a bit. Of course, we're also about 20 minutes from park closures as well, but they have lines all the way outside the chains, and it can be very brutal in that hot sunshine. Okay, so we are inside the theater for the first time in a long time. They have hand sanitizer in the line as well as social distancing, so very safe. So lots of distancing here in line. Several empty rows, social distancing, and this is cool. They changed the screens of Mickey and Minnie cartoons on the screens. Okay, we're now given a number. And we will sit here on our number and socially distance.
Thank you guys so much for joining us today for the world premiere of Perfect Picnic. Unfortunately, during my last performance of the show, let's say Goofy really had a blast. But he said I could let you guys hit straight on in to join him in the Toon World, okay? So we're going to do just that. Number one, right? And four.
Okay, now we got some plexiglass partitions, some lines on the floor, and they're socially distanced, empty rows in between those that are filled.
Hey, Mickey Mouse! You sure you take good care of our friend. The work very great. What could possibly go wrong? Oh, I've been working all day.
Just let him get away!
We have to stop them before they go over the...
Oh, excellent! You're all waltzing so beautifully together.
Nothing can stop us now. I'm so
Well, we just rode Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway for the very first time, and I have to say, I loved it. It might be one of my new favorite rides. It was nostalgic, and it was just awesome, and we just really, really loved it. They did a good job social distancing and all of that, but the ride itself was awesome. We've had a really awesome day at Disney's Hollywood Studios. We rode every single ride that's here, and we went to the Muppet Vision show. We ate at 50's Primetime Cafe. We shopped in the shops, and we just had a great day. They're doing a great job social distancing. They're doing a great job with the mask enforcement. Everything Disney's doing is wonderful, and we just had an awesome day. And we got to ride Rise of Resistance and Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway for the first time, and we loved them. Please like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you real soon.
Thank you for flying Star Tours. Bye-bye.